Welcome to Growing in Uncertainty. My name is Tess Miller, and through my coaching and seminar business, Wings Unfolded, I help people who are loving what they do, but they're not sure where it's going. It can be an energy drain when we're not sure where we're going in our life. We're making decisions day after day about what we want to do, but we don't really know how it's going to turn out or what's going to manifest in our lives, or even we might have questions about whether or not we're making the right decisions. And this can make us feel helplessly stuck in our lives and not sure what decisions to make or where to go next. My intention with these videos is to help you get clarity about who you are, what you really want in your life, and how to reconnect and uplift your energy for making the decisions that will help you go in really powerful directions in your life. I offer insights, tips, ideas, and maybe even a little bit of courage to get through those next steps. So for the last few weeks, I've been talking about ways to deal with any self-doubt that comes up in life. And one of the first videos I did on that was about self-acknowledgement. And then I did one on self-acceptance. And then last week's video was on SelfTrust. All of these are elements that go into how we can cope with any self-doubt in life. Self-doubt is one of those things that creeps into our lives whether we want it to or not. And if we have a strong framework within ourselves to deal with it, there's no amount of self-doubt that can keep you from accomplishing any goals that you have in your life. So today I want to talk about developing the skill of self-confidence. And self-confidence is one of those things that when if you type into Google a search of self-confidence and then hit images, you're going to get a lot of people standing on the mountaintops or with their arms outstretched, and it just looks really amazing to have self-confidence. But that's honestly not how self-confidence actually feels a lot of the time. If you look up a definition of self-confidence in any dictionary, you'll see that it talks about self-confidence as a feeling of trust in your own abilities, your own qualities, and your own judgment. And that doesn't sound so much like someone standing on the top of a mountain feeling invincible, right? It's more self-directed than anything else. So that's also why I decided to talk about self-confidence after talking about self-trust, because you can't really have confidence if you don't have self-trust. So remember, after last week, I talked about self-trust as happening when we show up for ourselves. We have an understanding of why we don't do certain things in our lives. We can acknowledge those reasons. We can acknowledge ourselves in that picture. We can accept that we can't control everything in our lives. Sometimes we have to roll with what happens. And we're understanding that we're always doing the best that we can in any situation in life, and that our best is enough. So self-trust is really about not abandoning yourself. It's sticking with yourself no matter what. Self-trust is something that's developed by experience, awareness, and self-knowledge. But self-confidence is when we use our self-trust and take action in doing the things that we say that we want to do. And this takes a skill, and it's a skill that anyone can develop. So I'm going to tell you the story of, I guess, my performance career in some sense of the word or meaning. So my performance career started in kindergarten. And it was actually the first day of kindergarten. And I apologize if you've heard this story multiple times from me, but it's a really good one that outlines this point of self-confidence. So first day of kindergarten, I was not feeling confident at all about coming to school and meeting new people for the first time. And I didn't know what kindergarten was. What were we going to be doing? So I was feeling very nervous and uncertain about the day. And when I got there, all the kids were running around and they were having fun. And I didn't know how to break into any of those groups. So I needed a way to make myself feel comfortable in that moment. And so I quickly thought of something that I could do to feel more comfortable. And for me, that was singing. So I sat down on the piano bench and I started singing all of the songs that I remembered from the Broadway musical Annie. And without realizing it, because I was so focused on just comforting myself, a whole bunch of students started gathering around the piano bench listening to me sing. And it wasn't until the teacher clapped her hands and said, "Okay, class, let's thank Tess for singing to us to start the day and let's get going." And I realized, oh my gosh, all of these people are watching me. What happened? But what's interesting is that I did end up calming my nerves about the day by going to an activity that made me feel confident in myself, and it helped me focus on myself. My focus was on me and not on the other students and what I wondered they were thinking about me. So fast forward to my senior year of high school, and I had a wonderful opportunity to play a solo with my high school band. And of course I was very nervous about this. I'd never played a solo with a band before in front of a large audience, but I remained focused on what I knew. I knew how to play my flute. I knew how to learn the music. I knew how to imagine what that performance situation would be like. I knew how to recover from mistakes when they would happen. I had accepted the fact that mistakes would happen. And, the interesting thing about this performance is that there was a little bit more to lose in comparison with the first performance that I talked about. In kindergarten, what did I have to lose by sitting there singing to a whole bunch of people? I really didn't. But in high school, I had a little bit more to lose. I had my reputation to lose. I had maybe my own self-respect. But at the same time, I decided to stay focused on why I wanted to do that. And in this case, I wanted to do that because I wanted to have the experience of playing for a big audience. I wanted to see if I could memorize a piece of music and perform it under those conditions. And I wanted to share this music with an audience. So I remained focused on what I knew how to do and why I was even doing it in the first place. And yeah, I made mistakes and I demonstrated to myself that I could recover from them. But I drew on my own self-trust. I acknowledged my nerves and I accepted the experience in its entirety. It was uncomfortable, to be honest. It was very uncomfortable to play for the audience, and be that nervous. And at the same time, I knew I could do it. I was confident in my abilities to be able to do it. So fast forward to a time in my life where I am a professional musician, and a few years back I had the opportunity to play a solo with the orchestra at one of the colleges where I teach. And at this point in my life, I certainly had way more to lose. if anything really, really bad should happen, I have my colleagues watching now, and I have my own students watching. And, despite the fact that I had all of that to lose, I also had a lot more experience under my belt. And I knew I could trust myself in that situation. It was very nerve-wracking, but I remained focused on myself. Once again, I used that skill of trusting myself and focusing on what I knew I could do. So in each of these scenarios, the feeling of nervousness was still very much present, but I knew that the self-confidence was there too, because I knew that I had played this music a whole bunch beforehand. I knew the process that I went through in order to learn the music. So I could sense that there was that confidence. And each time I would get up to perform, that was basically an action step for me to take to demonstrate that I had every reason to be confident in my abilities. But I had a choice to make when I got up on the stage. Whenever we do anything that's new for us, we have a choice. We can either choose to focus on the feelings of discomfort and uncertainty, or we can choose to shift our focus to what we know to be solid and stable for us. If I had given into my fear and nervousness for those performances, I would have been stuck in my life. I might not have decided to take those performance opportunities. And then I wouldn't know my own abilities to get through such big performances in my life. I'd be wishing that I could do those things without actually doing them. And having gone through those feelings of nervousness gave me more confidence. It fueled my confidence underneath, so that even when the stakes got higher and I became more nervous, I knew I could rely on myself to make it through. It's kind of a cycle in that way, and that's why I say building self-confidence is actually building a skill. So, how do you develop self-confidence? Step one is to watch my previous videos on self-acknowledgement, self-acceptance, and self-trust. And you can either find those on this Facebook page, or you can go over to my YouTube channel where I've made them nice and pretty and they have titles and things like that. So you can easily find the different steps that I outline in them. So you just type my name into YouTube and you can find those there. The playlist is called Growing in Uncertainty. Step two is to sit with yourself and maybe make a list of the things that you are confident about in your life. Start small. Sometimes we can be really critical of ourselves if we think about the big things, like, well, I'm not confident about anything. I go to work every day and I just don't feel confident at all. Start small. I'm pretty sure you feel confident about brushing your teeth, for example. Or maybe you feel really confident about baking cookies, or you feel really confident about I don't know, being a good listener to your friends. It can be so many things. So just, think of those things that you've done a billion times before. You know the process of doing them. You love the process. You're in the zone maybe when you do it. You don't have to think about it a ton. And you can accept whatever happens when you're doing those things and not take the outcomes so personally. It just is what it is. So then what you can do is think about, well, what did it take for me to feel confident about it? For example, brushing your teeth, you probably did that a whole lot of times. Hopefully, anyway. Brushing your teeth is one of those things that, you probably just mindlessly do at this point. You can be thinking about your to-do list at the beginning of the day as you're brushing your teeth. But it took practice. The first times you did it, maybe you had to focus on getting every single tooth. So anyway, just think about what it took to get you to feel confident about some of the other activities that you do in your life. Notice how that confidence feels in your body. Notice, what do you feel in your heart? What do you feel in your head? What do you feel in your belly as you're thinking about the confidence that you have had doing activities that are kind of second nature for you at this point? This is self-confidence minus the nerves. So this is basically establishing a way for you to recognize what self-confidence is in normal moments in your life, so that you're more likely to notice when self-confidence happens when you are nervous in your life. Step 3 is to think about a goal that you really want to accomplish in your life, but it might take you a little bit out of your comfort zone. For example, maybe you have a goal of doing a Facebook Live show of your own, or maybe there's a hobby that you really want to take up, but you're just not sure. Maybe you're saying things to yourself like, I'm too old for that, or I'm too young for that, whatever it is, but something that takes you out of your comfort zone. And then what you want to do is figure out why it is that you want to do this project and really declare that to yourself. I want to learn how to play the guitar because I love the sound of the guitar, or I've always loved the idea of knowing how to pick up a guitar and be able to play it whenever I want, or I just love the idea of doing it, or I just want to prove to myself that I can do it. Whatever the reason is, establish for yourself why you want to do it. Then make a list of all the little tiny steps that it would take for you to accomplish your goal. Going with the guitar example, it might be looking for a guitar teacher, or maybe getting recommendations from people who are taking guitar lessons. Or maybe it's going out and buying a guitar. Just make a list of all of the steps that you need to take in order to start working towards that goal. Step 4 is to actually take action toward your goal. And remember that if you feel nervous about that, it's okay. The nervousness doesn't have to overshadow the self-confidence. The nervousness is just there because you've never done it before. That's totally understandable, but it's just a feeling. And that feeling might be generating some scary thoughts for you, like, what if I make a mistake? What if I break the guitar? What if I can't do it? You don't have to listen to those thoughts. Those thoughts and feelings are there because they don't want you to feel failure. They don't want you to feel fear. But if you can stay focused on why it is that you want to take action towards your goal, then you will override those thoughts and feelings that maybe are trying to keep you small. So your job is to make sure that your nerves and your uncertainty about trying something new does not overpower your self-confidence. So in that moment of taking action, remember all of the other times in your life when you've done things that took you out of your comfort zone, that didn't feel so good, but you did them anyway. That means that you're going to make it through this time of uncertainty too, and you're going to take the steps that you need to take towards your goal. When you take action towards your goal, you are demonstrating the self-confidence to yourself. And that is such a powerful thing. When you show yourself that you trust in yourself to be able to do something new, or to take yourself out of your comfort zone. And then just keep taking those action steps, no matter what. It might get easier to keep taking those steps towards a goal. It might not. But as you go on that path, take note of everything that you accomplish, despite how nervous or uncertain you might feel. And notice that you're not stuck anymore. You're not stuck saying, I wish I could do blah, blah, blah. Now you're saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe this, but I'm actually doing this. This is so amazing. So the biggest takeaway for me about developing self-confidence is that even in my most nervous, fearful moments in my life, my confidence was always there because I was always demonstrating it to myself. I was always developing that skill, that muscle of trusting in my own abilities to handle anything that came my way. All of the actions, experiences, success, and lessons that you've learned in your life contribute to your self-confidence. And confidence doesn't always feel the way that we might want it to feel or expect it to feel. It certainly doesn't look like it does in the pictures that you might see on Google of people feeling self-confident. And it certainly doesn't always sound like the music from Rocky. But it is the strength that carries us through starting anything new. So I hope this message resonates with you this week on developing the skill of self-confidence. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm always so grateful to know that people are watching, maybe sharing these videos with other people that could benefit from what I'm talking about. And I hope you like or share these videos with those people. I also want to mention that I am still in the final stages of working on my book, The Book of Stuck. I'm going to be announcing some book launches soon. I know I keep saying that week after week, but I really do mean it. It is going to happen, and I hope you'll join me for a book launch that I do soon. And if you want to know when that's going to happen, and if you're not part of my email list already, I would highly, highly encourage you to go over to my website, www.tess-miller.com, and sign up to get my weekly email that way, and that's how you'll find out when my book launch is going to happen. If you're ready to embark on some transitions in your life or just get out of feeling stuck, feel free to go over to my website and try a free coaching session with me. It's called the Test Your Wings complimentary session. We'll meet together on Zoom and I'll have you express some area of your life you feel stuck, and we'll work on it for about 45 minutes to an hour. And hopefully you'll get some clarity in that time and see what coaching is all about. You can also find me on Facebook or LinkedIn under my business name, Wings Unfolded. You can find me on Instagram under my name, or YouTube, where you can see all my past videos and get more resources that way. You can also send me a private message. I'd love to connect with you. Thank you so much for being here today. And remember that it's okay to be stuck, but you don't have to stay there. Have an amazing week. Take care.